I the a-hole for not inviting my daughter to my wedding? I, 46 male, am getting married to my fiancée, 39 female. We have been together for 3 years. I have 2 daughters, 18 female, 9 female, from previous relationships, and my youngest's mother left when she was 6. My fiancée is a very sophisticated person and have exquisite tastes. She also does not really care for young children, and this has created tension between her and my youngest daughter. While our plans have been delayed due to global circumstances, our plans to get married are finally going ahead. It's going to be a very lavish and expensive wedding. Due to the nature of the wedding and my fiancé's preferences, our wedding is also going to be child-free. We will, however, be inviting my oldest as she is no longer a child, and because unlike my youngest, her and my fiancé get along well. However, I didn't realize that my youngest expected to come to the wedding. She tried to tag along with my fiancé and oldest when they were going shopping for a dress for my oldest, because she thought she was going to need a dress too. I explained to her that the wedding was going to be for adults only, and that she wouldn't be attending. She started crying and getting mad, which stressed out my fiancé. She has been distraught about this for days and hasn't let it go. Then my parents came by to visit today, and my youngest told them what had happened. When they asked for clarification on the situation, I explained to them that my daughter wouldn't be attending the wedding because the child-free rule applied to her as well. Besides, this wedding would not be suitable for a child, and I don't want my fiancé to have to deal with my daughter on the most important day of her life. My parents told me I was being a terrible father by prioritizing my fiancé over my daughter, and that on the day of the wedding they would take my daughter out for a special day, which means they wouldn't be in the wedding. I told them they couldn't do that. Even if they didn't attend the wedding, I wouldn't let them take my daughter. And this has become a bigger conflict than I intended. My fiancé and I both think we're in the right for wanting a child-free wedding, but it appears I may lose my parents from the wedding over this, and I want to know if I'm in the right or not. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Yeah, dude. If your fiancé and a 9-year-old don't get along, that's because of an issue with your fiancé. How can you even say, unlike my youngest, her and my fiancé get along well? She's 9 years old. She's a child. It's not up to her to get along with your fiancé. You're the a-hole. She's a 9-year-old. I mean, come on. Your fiancé should not be your fiancé if she can't love your kid. That's about to be her mother, and your prioritization is going to ruin your relationship with your daughter long-term, especially if you don't let her attend the wedding. You're the a-hole. Both you and your fiancé. I hope you change your mind and choose your daughter's happiness over your selfish bride-to-be. Agreed. The kid is a young child. How is she supposed to make a future with the two of you as her parental role models if she gets pushed so far aside? Perhaps allow her to participate in the ceremony and beginning of the reception, then taken out by a sitter. And you guys are a family. It is not your fiancé's day alone. This is a major change for all 4 of you. If your lady is so willing to forget your daughter at this stage of the game, it isn't going to get better. Get ready to pay the therapy bills. You have kids, are marrying a woman who doesn't like kids, are surprised that your younger daughter, who will be a family unit with you and your fiancé, would like to go to the wedding. Go shocked Pikachu face when your parents call you out for being a horrible father. What a better way to let your kid know that they don't matter than to not include them to the ceremony celebrating your union to her new parent. Solid gold a-hole. You're the a-hole, OP. What do you do for an encore? Drop your youngest at a bus stop and wish her good luck in her new life? Throw out her things and turn her bedroom into a walk-in closet for the missus who has refined tastes? Not let your daughter eat dinner with you? Send her off to boarding school, since the new stepmom doesn't like kids. Fortunately, she is very sophisticated and has exquisite tastes, all except for where it applies to men, and how to successfully navigate relationships with their families. You're the a-hole, OP. You may not just lose your parents from the wedding, you're very likely also going to lose your daughter, permanently. You're the a-hole. I don't know why you are marrying a woman who isn't willing to take you and your children as whole package, and you've handled this entire situation terribly. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my twin that she should have worked on herself instead of expecting me to let myself go for her wedding? My twin sister May and I are identical. At the end of our first year of college, I was in a car accident, and I ended up with a facial scar and major trauma. I started seeing a therapist because of the nightmares, and the fact that I was panicking anytime I got into a car. That led to me realizing there were some deeper issues, which we worked on. As part of that work, I got a physical, started working with a dietitian to fix my diet and a smorgasbord of vitamin deficiencies it caused. I started working out, strength training 3 days and sprinter high-intensity interval trainings on 3, with our older sister. By the end of our first year of college, we had each gained about 30 pounds. By the end of the next year, I had lost half of it, but I was smaller at 134 pounds than my previous 120 because of the muscle mass. And that's been my size for the past half-decade. I found a new beautician, and she gave me long layers to make my natural curls be curls instead of wave of frizz I always wanted, but that my old one said would look bad and refused. I stopped bleaching it and let it go its natural dark blonde/light brown. I stopped spray tanning. Again, that's been my look for the past 5 years. I live in a rural area and the internet isn't great. Things like FaceTime just aren't options, and I can't post a lot of pictures on social media because of it. This is relevant because a big issue is that May didn't see me over the quarantine. We talked on phone a couple times a week, but it mostly revolved around her wedding planning. She got engaged before the Rona put us on lockdown. I wasn't her maid of honor, so mostly I was being told decisions, not involved in the process. When it came to the bridesmaids' dresses, May just sent our sister-in-law and me a link and told us to get it in our size. Same with hair and makeup, but we had to arrange for a beautician because May's wouldn't do more than 4, and she wanted her friends at the appointment with her. Then she didn't do a bachelorette party with us. She did with her friends, or rehearsal dinner. So May didn't see any of us until the start of the wedding. She was livid. Apparently, she thought we would have stopped working out because of the Rona, or that we would have stopped when she announced her engagement so we didn't upstage her. She was also mad because I didn't try to hide my scar and didn't tan, and thought it would be implied. She made several snide remarks before throwing a drunk temper tantrum at the reception, basically accusing the 3 of us, but me especially, of trying to upstage her. I don't have that excuse because I was a designated driver, so sober. But I, quite famously, have a low tolerance for angry or crying drunks. I told her, if you're so insecure, you should have got off your butt, instead of expecting us to lay on hours to make yours look better. It only got worse from there. Our family is on my side because I didn't start it or do anything, but Groom's family and her friends are giving me crap. So am I the a-hole? A wedding day is probably the day where your sister should have been the center of attention. Well, she did an exceptional job of that. Now everyone will remember her as Bridezilla. Not the a-hole at all, but I would suggest she works on herself. Maybe appoint a therapy session for both of you to improve this relationship? If both of you want, of course. Not the a-hole. Your sister sounds like a majorly entitled Bridezilla. How are none of you, her bridesmaids, not invited to the bachelorette or the rehearsal dinner? Shaking my head. Yeah, how does that even happen? As bridesmaids, they are part of the wedding party, and therefore should be at the rehearsal dinner. I've never heard of such a thing, but then again, I am older than dirt and times might have changed. Not the a-hole. You went through a lot, and instead of being proud of you for facing your fears, your sister has been incredibly selfish. Seriously, it sounds like she wanted to get married just to feel good about herself, rather than because she truly loves someone. Has she always been like this? To be honest, it's gotten worse since the accident. I don't really know what set it off then, but it's been worse. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for pulling out of my brother's wedding because my old tormentors will be there? My brother Ben is getting married and his fiancée Faith went to the same high school as me. I used to be mercilessly harassed in high school and didn't have any friend, which led to a horrible period of depression and anxiety. I now mainly deal with suppressing those memories and cutting off contact with people I knew from high school. Faith used to be part of a mean girl clique who were especially terrible to me, but to be fair, she was more of a follower of the clique. She never directly mistreated me, but she used to just laugh along when her clique made fun of me. When Ben started dating Faith, I was shocked and had a hard time dealing with it because it brought back what her clique used to do to me. But if I ever bring up something they did, Faith usually just laughs it off, saying she doesn't remember, and that they were probably just young and stupid. It took a lot of convincing by Ben, and a lot of time working on myself for me to finally forgive Faith and accept her as my brother's girlfriend. They are now engaged, and Ben asked me to be his best woman. I accepted, and even agreed to help out with Faith's side of wedding events because her maid of honor has too much on her plate. The wedding planning has been going smoothly so far, until Faith told me she was going to invite her high school clique to her bachelorette party when she can have it. I immediately felt the old anxiety come back, and asked her if they will be invited to the wedding too. She said yes, and learning that nearly crushed me. I spent some time thinking about it, and I don't think I could be at the wedding if those people are there. Faith at least never tortured me herself, so I can handle it. But seeing her gang leaders again would very likely trigger my depression. Or worse, send me into a panic attack at the wedding itself. I told Ben that I might need to pull out of the wedding because of that. But I can still help however I can with the wedding planning, as long as I don't come in contact with Faith's old gang. Ben is very upset, and says I'm only thinking of myself. And clearly I don't want to be at his wedding because I still don't accept Faith as his future wife. He also told me I should move on from whatever happened in high school. But even if I try to do that, a high-stress event like this wedding would be the worst time to test if moving on works. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I'm sick and tired of people telling emotional scarred victims to move on because it wasn't childhood. I know people are horrible accepting any kind of consequences, but rarely what type of mistreatment is so dismissed and mocked as the school abuse. Oh, it's fine. You spent your formative years tormented by your peers. Why can't you move on? The whole situation is so ridiculous. As if just because it was fellow children tormenting you, it's suddenly fine? And then we're labeled as pathetic, because in our adulthood we have to deal with the consequences of it that was indeed carried out by, at the time, children, but also supported and endorsed by adults. People whose job should have been protecting us and setting a good example. Nope. To hell with that. She will never stop triggering you. And the least you can do for yourself is not go to the wedding to have a smile on the face of the people who tormented you. Mind you, you are being considerate. You have trauma. There is no guarantee you'll be able to look happy at the wedding no matter how hard you try. An unhappy guest at a wedding is a crappy guest. You're doing them a favor. Also, Faith remembers full well. Do with that info as you will. But she's full of it when she claims she forgot. If she were truly worthy of your forgiveness, she'd have a big talk with you, deeply apologize with no excuses, acknowledge your trauma, and disinvite her clique because they are her high school friends and you are her sister-in-law. This, just all of this. OP not a-hole, but everyone else in this story is. Not a-hole. Fiancée never apologized for what she and her friends put you through. She just made excuses. Have you told her how upsetting it is to see those people? Talk to her directly. If she blows you off, you know she doesn't care about you and has no loyalty to family. You would not be the a-hole if you pull out of the wedding because of that. I haven't told Faith because I thought it would cause less drama if I told my brother. And I'm at a wedding party on my brother's side too, so it makes more sense. Plus, Faith knows I didn't want her around at the beginning of their relationship, which caused a rough patch for all three of us. So I learned that it's better to talk to Ben directly than talking to Faith and then having it come back to Ben as me having an issue with her. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling future sister-in-law she was wasting her parents' money on a wedding? I, 32 female, have a brother Andre, 34 male, who is engaged to Molly, 30 female. We come from a humble middle-class family that values hard work with their hands, farmers and factory workers. Andre is a factory supervisor at a car parts manufacturing business, and I help manage an apartment complex. Molly, however, comes from a family with money. Her parents grew up poor, but her dad worked a good line job in the 90s. Her mom was a corporate lawyer, and now her family's loaded. Both her siblings and her have what I call a spoiled complex. Molly and Andre revealed yesterday that they would be having a big, beautiful wedding. They began listing things off that they want: limo, dress designer, venue, etc. When I mentioned how expensive all that would be, Molly said she wasn't worried. When I asked why, she said her parents gave her $50,000 cash for her wedding, as they believe it is the responsibility of the bride's parents to pay for the wedding. Yes, I live in the States. I couldn't believe it. I felt Molly was spending money frivolously. I told her she should invest that money instead of having a huge wedding. She promptly told me that whenever I get a man, that I can do just that, and to not tell her what to do with her money. Andre chuckled, but I didn't find it funny. It is not her money, it's her parents. Molly's a teacher and doesn't make that much, So I think this is a great opportunity to get ahead financially. Andre, of course, took her side and told me to mind my business. Then today, Andre called me. We talk often, and I asked if he was seriously going to let her waste $50,000 in one day. He said that's not his place to tell her how to spend her family's money, but I disagree. Andre told me to mind my own business again, but I think he's making a mistake marrying someone who just throws money around. I must have been on speakerphone because Molly responded with, "And that's why you're single, because you can't mind your damn business." She then called me jealous, and Andre's on her side. I'm not jealous, but I know weddings shouldn't be that much. Andre said Molly knows how to handle money because her parents taught her, but I think this is a mistake. And my parents agree that Molly's just flaunting wealth for no reason. But Andre says Molly's more financially responsible than any of us, stating she helps him manage his 401k and started a Roth IRA for him when they met. But I just can't believe that she's financially responsible if she's going to waste $50,000 in one day. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole. You do sound jealous that Molly's family's able to and wants to help her out. Get off your high horse. You're the a-hole. In Molly's words, mind your own business. People get to spend their money however they see fit. Cracks me up that Opie said, it's not her money, it's her parents. Yes, Opie, that's literally the point. It's not your money, it's her parents' money. Now her and brother's money. And her parents decided to gift it to her and Andre for their wedding. Molly was also on point with that. She promptly told me that whenever I get a man, that I can do just that, and to not tell her what to do with her money. That's fact. Opie can have a frugal wedding when she marries, but she can't tell people what to do with their money for their wedding. You're the a-hole. Also, the money was earmarked by her parents for the wedding. So if anything, she's respecting their wishes for their money by using it for the purpose it was intended. The point is moot regardless, since it is her money considering they gave it to her, but just another way that Opie's logic is flawed. I hate to break it to you, but you're the a-hole. Molly's right, you should mind your own business. It's not your money nor your wedding. I could understand if it was your parents' money that you might be upset, but this is her parents' money. And if they want to spend $50,000 on a wedding, they can. If you want to continue to have a relationship with your brother and his future wife, just leave the situation alone.